All right, let's dive into one of the most intense family dramas you'll ever hear. We're going straight to the source, Genesis 37, to get into a story packed with jealousy, incredible dreams, and one single act of betrayal that, believe it or not, changed the course of history. This is the story of Joseph.
Here comes that dreamer. With just those 4 words, Joseph's brothers pretty much sealed his fate. That one line, just dripping with sarcasm and contempt. It tells you everything you need to know about the conflict before it even really begins. So who was this dreamer, and why on earth did his own family hate him so much?
So yeah, why all the hatred? To really get what's happening here, you have to understand this family. The tension in Jacob's household, it had been simmering for years, and poor Joseph was standing right in the middle of the storm.
Joseph is just 17 years old, and he's got this special place in the family. See, he wasn't the oldest, not by a long shot, but he was the son of Jacob's old age, born to his absolute favorite wife, Rachel. And his dad, Jacob, he made zero effort to hide who his favorite was.
And this, right here, this is a recipe for disaster. On one side, you've got Jacob's totally obvious favoritism. He didn't just love Joseph more, he showed it off, and he showed it off with a very specific, very famous gift. And on the other side, well, you get the direct result, this corrosive, deep-seated hatred from his 10 older brothers. It was so bad, they literally couldn't even say a nice word to him.
So that gift I mentioned, it was that infamous ornate robe. You have to understand, this wasn't just a piece of clothing. It was like a walking, talking billboard for Joseph's special status. Every single time his brothers had to look at him wearing it, it was just another reminder that, in their dad's eyes, they just didn't measure up.
Okay, so if the robe was like kindling, Joseph's dreams were like someone pouring gasoline all over it. This is the exact moment that simmering resentment boils over and turns into a full-blown inferno of jealousy. So Joseph has this dream. And in a move that's either really naive or maybe just a little arrogant, he goes and tells his brothers all about it. You can just imagine how that went down, right? They're already furious with him, and now he's telling them about a vision where their hard work literally bows down to his.
And there it is. Their response is instant. It's angry. They don't hear some weird dream. They hear a declaration. They see it as proof that this kid, their little brother, thinks he's destined to be their king. And for that, they hated him even more.
Now, you'd think maybe he'd have learned his lesson after the first time, but nope. He has another dream, and this one is even bigger, even more audacious. We're not talking about sheaves of grain anymore. Now, the entire cosmos, the sun, the moon, the stars, basically his whole family is bowing down to him.
This dream was so out there that even his dad, Jacob, who adored him, had to call him out on it. But, and this is a really crucial detail, the text says his father kept the matter in mind. So while the brothers just saw arrogance, maybe Jacob was wondering if there was something more to all this.
Okay, now we get to the turning point. All that pent-up hatred is about to find its moment. It all happens when Joseph gets sent to find his brothers, completely alone, vulnerable, and miles away from home. So Jacob sends Joseph on what's supposed to be an errand of care, right? To go check on his brothers, see how they're doing. The irony here is just staggering. This act of fatherly concern is the very thing that delivers Joseph right into the hands of the people who hate him most. So in just a few minutes, this dark plan comes together. The first gut reaction is just pure murderous rage. Let's just kill him. But then Reuben, the oldest, he steps in. Not really out of love, but more to try and lessen the crime. And finally, Judah comes up with this chillingly practical idea. Why murder him when you can make some money off him? The very first thing they do, they rip that robe right off him. And this is so symbolic. They are physically and violently stripping him of the one thing that represented their father's favor. And then they throw him into a pit to figure out what to do next.
So with Joseph stuck in a pit, the brothers' plan starts to take its final, ugly shape. They aren't just getting rid of a problem anymore. They're about to make a cold, heartless business deal that's going to haunt their family for generations.
Just check out the nerve here. While their brother is sitting in a hole in the ground, they just sit down to have a meal. It's right then that fate, or maybe something else, steps in. A caravan of merchants shows up on the horizon, giving them the perfect, terrible opportunity.
20 shekels of silver. That was it. That was the price tag they put on their own brother's life. It's a shockingly small amount of money, which really just shows you how little he meant to them in that moment.
And just like that, it's over. They haul him out of one dark hole only to sell him into another one. Slavery in a completely foreign country. As far as they're concerned, problem solved. But for Joseph, a terrifying new life is just beginning.
But getting rid of Joseph was only half the battle. Now they had to go home and face their father. And the plan they came up with was somehow just as cruel as the crime itself.
Here's how they pulled it off. They took that robe, the very symbol of their father's love for Joseph, and they turned it into the main prop for their lie. They killed a goat, dipped the robe in its blood, and then brought it to Jacob, pretending they just stumbled upon it.
And Jacob's reaction is exactly what they were counting on. He sees the robe, and his mind immediately goes to the most horrible place imaginable. You can feel the agony in these words. His favorite son just torn to pieces.
And this wasn't just a brief moment of sadness. This lie cut so deep that Jacob was convinced he would be grieving until the day he died. And all the while, his sons, the ones who caused it all, just stood there and watched their father suffer.
So, while Jacob is mourning back home, the story pivots. Joseph's journey as a slave takes him to the house of a very powerful man in Egypt, an official of the Pharaoh himself. His family ties are completely severed. He's now property in a strange land.
So, in the end, the brothers got what they wanted. They silenced the dreamer. They got him out of their lives for good. Or so they thought. But think about it. By sending him to Egypt, the center of power in the ancient world, did they actually put an end to his destiny? Or did they, without even knowing it, set the stage for every single one of his dreams to come true?